coffee do I want first? I want this one, because this one's gonna stay warm and this one's gonna cool. So I want this coffee first and this is later coffee. I always have so many drinks around here. And then this is like water, sparkling water. Okay, it's good. All right, we're live. Happy Wednesday, everyone. How is it going? Welcome to the live stream. The Wednesday at 7. I don't know why I do these in the middle of the week at 7 o'clock at night. Like, I really need this coffee for these live streams. But hey, I've been enjoying them. I hope you have too. We've been coming in here every Wednesday at 7, and I said I was going to do it, and I have, and it's been awesome, and it's been good. If you can't tell, this way, look at the studio. Look at how nice and clean the studio is. We did a full clean on the studio today because we're starting to do more of these for companies and like motivational speakers and people doing podcasts and stuff like that. And we've been in this space for about 8 years now. No, it's exactly 8 years. Like, we got in on like the 1st of January 8 years ago. And we've always been like, we want to start like getting this space out or renting this space out or things of that nature. And it just never happened. I don't know. We didn't market it well, or we didn't really know how to utilize it or how to rent it out and make it more of a creative space for others. And then this year it was just kind of like, you know, I wanted to start doing live streams first for companies, not really myself. Just do live streams in the studio. And we got no one came in. And so it's pretty ironic, and I have a point here where I'm going with this. It's pretty ironic, once I started doing these just every Wednesday with you guys, we've been starting to book a lot more of these for companies. And it's not like the companies have seen the live streams, but maybe it's just like the way that I know how to, maybe it's through doing these with you guys that I've learned how to approach people and companies and be like, look, we have this service we can provide you. I've seen it in action now. I know how it works. This is how it could work for you. And just from like doing it myself with you guys and through this YouTube channel, I've just kind of been able to parlay that into work. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about at the beginning of this thing. If you don't know about these live streams yet, this is a how to hike. We all watched, hopefully, the Owyhee video, which thank you everyone for watching that. I got good feedback. It's doing pretty well right now, and we're gonna learn how to hike that. It's a short hike though, okay? And I'm and I need to fill some time here at the top of the hour for this live stream while everyone gets in here. That's the format of these shows, just so you know, if you're new to this. We come in, John rambles, gets everything he wants from the week before off his chest, and then we talk about the hike. Where was I? Okay, so after these videos drop, like the good ones, I can always tell if like they resonate with the audience because I get messages from two different types of people. So the first kind of person is like the person that just wants to go hiking with me, and that's always great. Hey, I'm always down for new hiking buddies. I'll say it again, I can always say it, like the best way is if you actually want to like jump on an adventure with me, or if you're just looking for, you know, friends to go in the mountains with. Instagram DM is the best way to do it. Because honestly, I gotta do like a little mini background check on you if we're gonna go out into the middle of nowhere for everyone. So I like to scroll through your Instagram and see what you're all about. And then usually it's like, you know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I gotta find the right trip where people can go and it's not just me. And then I usually reach out to people that have reached out to me, and if they can make it, they make it, and if they don't, they don't. The other kind of person that reaches out to me is the young like filmmaker. I believe that this channel is like, this channel is primarily watched, according to my analytics, by people 24 through 44. And I've noticed that like the most comments though, and the most engaged audience is like 45 and up. I don't know why, like my generation doesn't want to comment on internet stuff, but the older generation, what do they call it? The boomers are just like, yeah, let's be friends on here. So they type away. But I will get hit up with messages from like young filmmakers of like, it's usually like, if you ever need a hand, or if you want someone to hold the camera, or I would love to hop on a shoot with you or something like that. And I just thought that maybe, because I had one from someone that I knew really well, and I gave her a little bit of advice, and I thought I might just share some of my story and how I came to do this and the steps you would take if you actually wanted to become an adventure filmmaker. And if you, it'll probably translate into any small business that's going on in your life. But so when I decided I wanted to do this, the first thing I did, I made the decision. I was at Sundance Film Festival, and I remember I was just at that point. We've probably all been there, like 24 or something, like you don't know what you want to do for a career or anything. And I'll never forget, I was there with my mom, and she was just like, hey, you love like film and stuff, you should do that. And so like before I came back from Sundance, I was like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. And from there it was like, all right, how do I do this? So the first thing I did was I came back to Boise, and I went to, on foot, by the way, no emails, no phone calls, no nothing like that, on foot. So if this is your first piece of advice, young person, on foot, I went to every production company I could find in Boise, every single one, and just knocked on the door and tried to meet with the people there, the people that were in charge, to ask the question, how do you make this a career? You have obviously made this a career. How do I make it a career? What's the path? Because especially in Boise, and especially back then, like it's a little bit different now, but back then there was like 4 production companies here, and then this was about the time of the DSLR. Now there's like 40 and 1,000, and everyone's mom is a filmmaker because they're so easy. But at that time, because it is so easy, but at that time, film cameras weren't DSLRs yet. They weren't the handheld things. They were big cameras that required a lot of light. They were expensive, so the amateur couldn't really get into the equipment side of it. You really had to you had to have a lot of money to get into filmmaking back then. That was about the time that DSLRs were coming on. Now you just need a DSLR and a laptop and you're good to go. But I went to these production companies in town, and a lot of them just didn't meet with me. Honestly, one person did. I remember I went to North by Northwest first, which is like downtown, and they're still here, they're big. And they just I sat on their couch for I think 3 hours, where it's a huge office with a bunch of people, and guys were like, yeah, so-and-so will meet with you, so-and-so will meet with you. And then someone would walk by, who are you? What are you still doing here? I don't know. And no one would meet with me. So eventually I found Wide Eye Productions, this company downtown. I think they're still there. Tom Hasdor is the guy that I met with. He's got a house basically in the north end that he's turned into a studio. Really cool. It's really hard. They don't have any signs on the building, so I had to kind of sneak. I don't even know how I found it, but I remember I was just knocking on north end houses, being like, "Is this Wide Eye?" Until I finally was like, "Oh, hey, this looks like something. What is this?" And I remember they were just shocked I even found the place. But it was a little bit of a smaller operation. It was 6 people in this production company, and Tom came down and he met with me and he showed me around, and he sat on the couch with me and he asked me and I was just asking him how do I get into this profession? And I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, "You need to sweep floors." I will never forget that line. I will never forget him telling me that. He's like, "If you want to do this, you need to sweep floors." And what he meant by that was just like, you are so trash, you don't know anything about this. Even if you went to school, it's like you wouldn't know anything about this. It's kind of what my brother was talking about the other day. Like, you know, as soon as you get out of school, like you're behind 3 years and you still need trained and stuff. It's literally more of a burden on a production company or on the filmmaker to basically teach you. I mean, they don't want to. So he said you need to go and find some place where you can soak in as much information and knowledge as you can, and to do that, you kind of like, you're gonna have to pay the dues to be there. You're gonna have to sweep floors. And that's when he told me to look at news, like go to news. That's a place that'll actually pay you to do that. Probably it's the only place that'll pay you to do that. So then I went to KTVB. I did basically stalk the neighborhood. It's my point that I'm trying to make here. It's a long way of telling this story, and I'm gonna get to a point here. But then I went to KTVB, and which was Channel 7. I actually went to a bunch of news places and dropped my resume off and stuff like that, and went to KTVB and dropped resumes off and did the whole thing, you know, that my mom taught me. Go in with your resume, ask to meet with the manager, don't leave until you meet someone. Now, these are huge production, like news companies. It's very hard to do that. There's lock and key codes. People won't meet with you. And so I was just banging on news doors, and then I was telling people that I worked at Cottonwood Grill, which is a restaurant downtown at this time. And I was just telling people, you know, talking to people about my dream and what I was trying to do and how to get in the news. And this gal that I worked with goes, "Oh, I've been neighbors with Carolyn Hawley for my entire life. She knows my entire family." If you don't know who Carolyn Hawley is, she's like the Veronica Corningstone of Boise. Like, she's like a big news thing. Like, Mark Johnson just got a key to the city. She's been in news for 30 years. Everyone knows who Carolyn Hawley is. And so I, with this girl, Lauren, devised, I forget what we did, but we basically devised a way to get Carolyn into the restaurant for lunch for some strange reason. I forget why. I think Lauren just invited her, said like lunch was on the house. I don't know if she lied to Carolyn to be like, you know, meet my friend, or I think she did. I think she like said, put in a good, you know, I want you to meet this guy. He wants to work in news, blah, blah, blah. So Carolyn Hawley comes in, and, you know, I wait on her, and we get to talking, and I get to schmoozing. And basically at the end of it, she was just kind of like left me her cell phone number, her card and her cell phone number. And she said, "I can't do anything for you now, but if a job opens up at KTVB, let me know and I'll see what I can do." And a job for a studio camera operator, a position that does not exist anymore, opened up at KTVB. It paid $8.25 an hour. And I went in and dropped off my resume and called Carolyn. And when I got the call for my interview, it was a guy named Hans, still there, still the guy that hires. He goes, "Jonathan, Carolyn Hawley put your resume on my desk and said I had to meet with you." And that's how I got into KTVB. And the first thing I learned at KTVB, you want to know what it was before the camera stuff, before all that? It was how to roll cord. So there's a special way you have to, it's called cabling. There's a special way, you know, now everything doesn't have a cable to it, but there's a special way that a cable needs rolled in a studio, so you don't trip on it, and that when you throw it out, it doesn't get all tangled in a knot. And that was the first thing I ever learned in this industry, was how to roll and cable the proper way. From there, I'm about to wrap this up and we'll get in the hike. From there, you know, that wasn't, I was just learning the studio camera stuff. You learn how to ingest, you learn all these things. There was about 4 guys that I worked with. They are all still my very best friends. Steve Nadiak, that is a director over there. A lot of them have gone on to, one of them went on to work for Idaho. A lot of them went on to just do their things like I'm doing. One of them went to go work for Micron. At News, for that job, there would be like a 4-hour break in between newscasts. Like you had to be there like early to do some stuff. And then you had this like 4-hour long break that they paid you for, because they had to pay you, you know, it's a union job. So like you had to be there and they had to pay you, but you had nothing to do. And so the 5 of these guys would either play basketball or we would play PlayStation. You know, someone would bring in FIFA or Madden and we'd set up tournaments and stuff. And I almost never played. I almost never played with them. Still my best friends. I still play PlayStation with them. I almost never played. What I did was during that break, I went back into the edit bay of Channel 7 and just sat in the edit bay and watched the editors edit. And I would just bug them. I just, like a gnat, like I bugged them. Like, hey, what'd you do there? Hey, what'd you do there? Hey, what'd you do there? Eventually, these guys just wanted to get me out of their hair. So what they did was they were just like, here, start cutting this. Here, start cutting that. There's an edit bay over there. Start cutting this, start cutting that, and I started cutting news stories, not being paid extra for it or anything like that. I just started cutting news stories for these guys. They liked it. They were like, I mean, it's less I have to do. Give this kid a news story. And I cut one news story, then I cut an A block, then I was cutting A blocks, B blocks, C blocks, then I was cutting whole news broadcasts before being yanked out of there and having to go actually do my shitty studio camera job. And yeah, that's kind of almost the end of my story. Here's where I wanted to jump in. This is the text I got from this person who I really like, and I just want to say, she said, "Hey dude, hope you're doing good. I just wanted to reach out and see if you have any projects or shoots you need help with, or I could tag along to. I started a program until 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. I have no other obligations other than that, so I thought I'd offer a hand if you needed one." And I responded back, "Didn't I offer you the chance to edit beside me?" Because at the time, this person is just getting into this. I said, "Hey, if you want help, bring in your projects that you're editing. I have a space, I have a desk right behind me. You can start editing your stuff behind me. And then if you have any questions or anything, or if you want help, I can take a look at it. We can go over stuff." So I'd offered this person that, I mean, weeks ago, months ago. And then she responds, "Yes, I just have been waiting for feedback from the company I sent videos to. That was my only project." "You mean like come down and watch you edit?" with a bunch of question marks. And this was my final response. I said, "You need to be just as creative." I can't believe I'm reading my own text message. This is so narcissistic, by the way. Oh my gosh. I mean, this whole thing is narcissistic, right? There's a live stream on a channel that has my name. It's called kind of narcissistic. I hope this helps someone so that I feel better about myself. Here's what I said. I said, "You need to be just as creative with your 10,000 hours as you are with a camera. At KTVB, we had 4-hour breaks between newscasts, and all the guys I worked with would either play basketball or PlayStation together during the breaks. To this day, these guys are my best friends. I love playing PlayStation with them, still do. I never played with them. I went to the edit bay and sat in a tiny dark room with the editor and just watched. Watched for hours, days. Eventually, just to get me out of their hair, they gave me little things to edit. Before I became an editor there, I was doing the editor's work for them. They loved me. I came in and edited a whole new show. This is why some people do this as a hobby, and my studio costs more than they make." And if you want to do this for a living, that's the kind of tenacity you need to have to do this. I've seen Peter McKinnon, who said the first thing he did in this business was he would go to houses that were staged, like model houses that were staged, and he'd break into them and he would shoot the staged houses and sell the photos as stock. And so before you pick up a camera, if you want to get into this, I just want you to remember that you need to sweep floors. You are not good at this, and you are never, and you need to learn to crawl before you walk. The first jobs you're going to have are cabling, dumping cards for people, learning how to just organize projects so me, the editor, can start with them and start doing it and start doing things like that. I want this girl to come with me to Stanley and help me and assist me there. But I can't have her there if she doesn't know what's going on or my style or how to organize stuff. And I think that's something important to remember before you ask, a professional, hey, I just want to, hold your camera. Maybe ask like, hey, can I sweep your floors? And yeah, that's my story. One final piece of advice, if you are actually get into this, it is a little bit different. The first thing you want to do is make yourself a website, Squarespace or something like that. And then that thing is never done. I just want you to know that. It's never done. You keep updating it, you keep working, you keep doing stuff, you keep working, I updated I have a website guy now, but I send him updates and new videos today. Like, these need to update to the website. Like, it's now in this age, your resume to potential clients and stuff like that. I mean, you're not just a photographer, a videographer, you're a small business owner. So you need to remember that. And then, yeah, you need to carry that kind of work ethic and creativity in, what got you to this place in the same way. If no one will book your studio for live streams, you need to just start doing them yourself, and then things will happen. So there's my little pep talk. If you needed it, you're probably not going to make it anyways. That's what I think. It's like if you actually have to listen to Gary Vee and you're like, oh yeah, Gary, I didn't get it before, but I get it now that you're yelling it at me. It's like, you're probably just not, it's probably not for you, man. It's time to go to school and get a job in a great job like my girlfriend works, and work hard in that job, and do your thing, do something else. All right, let's get into this hike. Sweeping floors is basically what I was told if I wanted to get into the gaming industry. The guy I talked with basically said work for free just to get something gaming related on the resume. Yeah, I'm not a huge thing. Yeah, and it's like, there's always a level, right? There's a back and forth. It's like, don't let people take advantage of you. But do be aware that sometimes, and understand, like, maybe the trade-off isn't pay. Maybe it's like, it costs me so much time. It costs that person, it's not me personally, but it costs your, it's the age-old thing of apprenticing, right? That is exactly what you're doing, and that's exactly what you're looking for. After KTVB, that's exactly what I got here with Chad. I found my, mentor and mentee relationship. You got to find that next. You got to apprentice. And yeah, the trade-off is that you suck at what you're doing. I mean, that doesn't matter if you're doing this, if you're doing that. It's like, I truly believe in the 10,000 hours thing, right? It was for me. I remember when I hit 10,000 hours 7 years in, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I have been absolute garbage at this for 7 years. And now I just am finally seeing like, oh, I actually think I'm good at this now. And it was true. So to get to that 10,000 hours, someone is going to have to put in time and effort, and you're not garbage, 1,000 hours in, but you're definitely garbage 2 hours in, and that person's going to spend their hard-earned time with you, teaching you, and eventually paying you, I'm sure. But maybe you put in that internship and that apprenticeship and show them that they're not wasting their time and energy investing in you before you expect payment. So yeah, Isaac, I'm right there with you. Everyone should find their Chad, and you will if you put in the work yourself. Holy cow, I could talk about this forever. By the way, no different than what my brother was talking about and what he did last week. That kind of got me on that story too. Like, a guy that's just like, has never, ever, I don't think he's ever put in a resume, or like, what the jobs that he applied for? The crappy ones, the Winco jobs, the bartender job, like all the jobs where he made all the money and like the prestige and all that. Those people found him because he was doing awesome stuff. So just start doing. All right, so let's get into this hike. 30 minutes in, this is about a 30-minute thing. Look, I'm getting good at this, guys. So what a great hike and what a great area in terms of if you're in southwestern Idaho and if you're in the Boise region, because as you could see in the video, this is like, and if you're here in Boise, this is just like, we just got snow, like a lot of it. Okay, there's no snow here. What's going on? Let me see, make sure this is muted. Are you muted? All right, good, here we go. So yeah, this is like, you can hike this in your boots. You do not need if you want to actually camp out here or backpack, you do not need a 4-season tent. I will still say what you do need is, the one thing you need is a warm sleeping pad, right? All right, I mean, how many times can I preach this, guys? It's do not take your climate 1.2 R value sleeping pad out here. You can take any tent that you have. You could take a damn tarp. I am guessing, like, remember how I talked about in a video earlier, like, oh, maybe you don't have a 0-degree bag, but you got a 15-degree bag with a liner and a warm pad over 6 on your R value. You could do this, okay? So you can backpack this. And of course, it's a day hike, right? And you don't need the fancy gaiters. There's no creek crossing. I made a mention of that in this video. You are going to need water because there's no water. And I gotta tell you, snow is so hard to melt, and it's just a pain in the butt. Do not plan on like, oh, I'm gonna find snow and I'm gonna melt it. Like, I was doing that for stuff like coffee and tea at night and stuff to save water, but do not bank on your primary source being that. There was actually a little bit of an outlet creek that was running right through the middle of it. It was frozen and stuff. Maybe you could get water there, but do not plan on it. And this is the Leslie Gulch area. I mean, it's right on the, I'm pretty sure I was in Oregon, but I mean, you are tiptoeing on the border, like crossing between Idaho and Oregon. And it's still, like I said, less than 2 hours from Boise. And your car, I think just with all of these, like, when I say it's like a pretty good drive and it's a pretty easy road, like if you live in Idaho, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, if you do this and you're driving like a Prius, man, like, no, okay? If you're driving like a Tesla, fine. You better have like that beater car with you. I don't understand these people. I had a buddy I hope I guilted him. He just sold it and got a different car, but he had this Subaru WRX that was like this far off the ground. And I was like, Corey, you can't go anywhere with that car, man. Like, I know it looks cool and you like it, but you can't go anywhere in this state with that car. You're so limiting yourself to just your life in this region if you have a car like that. And he sold it and he got like a Subaru Forester. And that kind of car, like a Subaru Forester, just a regular old car, you don't need a souped up truck, can make it here. So yeah, roads, all that stuff, you're good. Let me switch over real quick here. Oh, and get you the Google Earth looking. And let's take a look at it on Google Earth. How do I? Here we go. Boom, boom. All right, you see it? There it is. There it is. I had someone reach out to me and say, hey, what app do you use? I get a lot of comments about apps and my Garmin. So before I used this system, I was the old school compass and map guy. I have never been into the app. I think that, I'm not gonna say it's unsafe, but like if I'm going out somewhere, especially by myself, like, I mean, I wanna scout it. I don't wanna trust some Joe Schmo who just like wrote something on an app. I don't even know how the apps work. So it really is like studying a map and then putting it in. And then by the time I get to these places, I have a good sense of the landscape before I even get to the trailhead. And in a place like the Owyhees, this one's super easy, you won't get lost. But like in 2 weeks, I'm gonna do the Honeycomb Loop, which is like rated a 10, it's up here. And you know, it's like you better have GPS if you go. So I'm gonna map that out and know where I am so I don't get lost. If we back out here, so I encourage you to at least do some research if you're using an app. I always stick to, yeah, oh wow, I was way over in Oregon. Holy cow. Sorry. This is actually a lot closer than you think, all right? I thought I was much closer, but I am pretty much in Oregon. Here's Boise. Here it is. See, it's really close. God, I'm sorry. And if you just Google the trailhead, if you Google Leslie Gulch, you can also get Google Maps to it. Some people were talking about other camping. You know, there's campsites here, right here by the boat ramp, this Slocum. Dude, I'm saying that so wrong. Creek Campground. You know, this is the reservoir, and like water is an issue. So if you need a place to stay with water, there's that. There were tons of hikes in here. I kind of put a couple of trailhead signs in the video. One of these is like Upper Leslie Gulch on this side. Might be right here. Oh look, that looks like a trail right here. So there's a lot of different trails around here. So I was thinking, I just am over the hot tent, but I was thinking at first like I was going to set up a hot tent or like a base camp here and then do like 3-day hikes out of this area and put a video together like that, but I didn't. But that's a good idea if you're looking for like a weekend of just like, dude, I want to get out of the city, get me out of here. You know, this place has bathrooms that were open. The bathrooms are open, so stocked with toilet paper. Thank you, Camp Ranger. So if you want a place like, yeah, come down here, set up camp. It'll be cold. Take your RV, set up down there, and then just do day hikes out of here. That's a really good idea. But Juniper Gulch was stunning. And the trailhead kind of follows this, you know, this little, what do you want to call it, a drainage ditch? I guess it's kind of a drainage ditch. It's like not so much a trail that you're following as that drainage ditch. So, this is the road. You can see in there. It's really cool. Reminds me of Zion a little bit. I don't know why. It's obviously less than Zion. Okay, so you can see like it's a drainage ditch. This is the start of the hike. Please get your little thingy out. Thank you. Really cool rock formations. Obviously, this is the most snow. It's like we had just gotten hit with the massive dump that I'm sure if you live here, you all know. And just a beautiful day that I picked. There's a better look at the road. There's parking right by the trailhead, as you can see. Here's the road. There's a bathroom right there. Just really developed that you can see. This is about a mile into the hike. Obviously, I'm telling you why there's juniper berries. I dig this kind of stuff. I don't know if you dig this stuff when you're hiking. I love like the fact that I was walking on juniper berries. I like that. That kind of stuff is really cool to me. It makes a hike really pop for me. Like it just like I had a big shit-eating grin on my face while I was hiking over those things. Like I'm not gonna lie. So this is where I want to point out. And I did a whole section of this. I did a whole breakdown right here and actually ended the breakdown like, and really you should actually just watch what I'm about to tell you in the live stream. So up to this point, you're pretty much on a trail. You're following the ditch, but it's kind of a trail. And then you'll get to this big wide open area and you'll know it, okay? I have a feeling some of you are actually going to go out and do this next weekend, so I want to be really clear today. So this, up until that point, this is where we are, okay? We've hiked from that parking lot that we saw up this drainage ditch. You can even see right here, like, how it looks. It's nice. All the way up. And this is like, I think I was standing right here. Let's back out here. I think at this point, I'm standing right here. You can see how the landscape kind of changes. And when you get to this point, you are going to be a little, not lost, but like you're just in this big wide open space. There's no trail, there's no nothing. And there's this big, like, you know, you'll see it. It's like there's the wall, you know you don't go straight. And you just go left, okay? Just go left. Everyone say, okay, John said go left. This is actually the trail you'll see that I ended up bumping on. I marked this out before, but really what I ended up doing was coming here and finding this little trail and going back down into the ditch and following this ditch again up the way, up here. And then over here where it starts to go up and you get out of the ditch, where you climb out of the ditch, a trail actually appears again. So on your way up, you actually climb 1,300 feet in elevation. So there is a good uphill climb here, and it starts right about here. This is also like if you just want to turn around and you don't want to go up, although I don't recommend that at all because of the views that you obviously saw. That might be a spot. But you'll start going up. And at this point, there will be a trail, okay? All the way up to here, to this ridge line. There it is. You can kind of see it. It's the muddy, and you're up. And it's really cool. There's really good views. Man, I overused the drone. I know everyone loves the drone and like this video for all the drone work. It's like, holy cow, dude. Like, you really went drone heavy. I guess I was just excited to have some place I could actually use it. I had a really cool clip for this video that I left out where a plane came down and he saw me and I waved to him. He was so close I could see him in the cockpit, and I waved and he did the whole tilt his wings thing to wave back. Speaking of just pilots, I know I'm not a pilot, but it was a really cool moment. And yeah, there's the plateau. From what I was saying, from that point I was saying that it's like, hey, that's where you're gonna get lost. You need to go left. Oh, did I lose it, John? Anyways, when I was doing that and showing people, that's the point where you need to go left. And it's a little uphill. You're gonna get to it, John. Good job. Okay, so this is like the ridge. So at this point, you see that trail to the right of me? Do not follow that. Don't follow this. I don't know what this is. This isn't the trail. Don't follow that. Don't worry about the trail. At this point, you're done with the trail, okay? The trail's no longer done. You know what you're following? And this is gonna sound a little creepy to you. Not creepy, but maybe a little scary. You're following the ledge on your left-hand side, okay? You're following this ledge. Stick with that ledge. If you go down here, you're just going to head down. You're heading down, and you don't want to do that. You're going to have to come back up, and through all this nasty sagebrush and stuff, it's not cool. So you're going to want to stick to your left hand side. After you go up to the top, you're going to make a left, and you're going to just stick with this ridge. And it's not terrifying. The drone makes it look a lot cooler. It was pretty freaking cool. I was about to say the drone makes it look cooler than it is, but it doesn't. It was really cool. I had the best time on this trip. Someone was going to come with me and they backed out last minute, and you know who you are, and I hope that you're totally kicking yourself right now. Learned how to doing fancy stuff with the drone because I just wanted to do drone stuff. Yep, following that left-hand side. And then here was my camp spot, and there was like a fire pit already there. Like, it was totally the only place up here that I noticed like people have stayed here before, and it was really noticeable. There was a fire pit that was made. There was a flat spot or two where people had set up tents, and it was at this point I waved to that guy. I'm gonna post that clip on social. So it was really cool seeing the pilot. I was able to get it on. I don't know why I didn't add it. Like, talk about killing your babies. Like, after I uploaded this, it was like, I was just so focused on the drone or something. I totally see the clip I want to cut out and add that one in too, now that I've put this up. Another tip for future filmmakers: don't let great be the enemy of good. Sometimes you just got to get it out and then kick yourself afterwards. I got lucky with the light. Name that film. If you remember that film, I'll give you till the end of this live stream. I got lucky with the lights. What's that from? Really good movie. Michael Mann directed it. There you go. There's your hint. So I guess that's for future hikings in the Owyhees. This was a really good, dude, having that drone is awesome. Not only because I'm doing something so much, the honeycomb loop is so much more of a endeavor and a challenge that I've got coming up. And that was what I was actually intending on doing first before I did this. And it was just a little bit harder to get back there. And so the snow had to melt a little bit more. But I'm really glad I got to do this one, because I got to actually, the drone not only gives me cool cinematic footage, it's a, gosh, why am I blinking? It's a scout. Like, I can scout an area with that thing and get an even better lay of the land. And what I've kind of noticed and what I kind of was thinking is, this is your water source right there, right there. That is the water source in the Owyhees. So as I start to plan for the Owyhees and I look at the honeycomb loop and stuff like that, like I have now planned out my places to stay on that loop along the reservoir. It's the reservoir. It's Owyhee Lake, Owyhee Reservoir, and Owyhee River all in one. I think that's kind of how it is. But there's your water source. Okay, so the road is down here to the left, you can see, to that campsite, to the boat ramp. And if you're ever planning future hikes in this region, like, this is how I would plan them. I would plan them along this thing. Look at how it is. Look at it. So there it is, stretching right. Look at how big and massive this reservoir. Like, we were just touching the tip of the iceberg with the drone. This is how I am going to explore the Owyhees. I'm going to stick with this thing. So, just if you're wondering. And yeah, obviously, so you can see my line. There's some old ranching stuff down here too that I saw. But again, if you just stay by the ridge here, you eventually get to, like, I think right here was where I ended up putting my tent. And the final shot in the video is me sitting right here. There's a couple of shots of me over here checking it out. And that is the area. So let's just finish this video, and then I will answer you any questions you have. Let's see as we go through this video if anything jogs my memory here. I mean, listen. The drone doesn't even describe it. I really did get lucky with the lights, being out there in the cold. I don't know if I got them. A lot of coyotes out there. So you're listening to like packs of coyotes off in the distance, which is like just old American West shit for me. Like, I loved it. I was just out there. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was howling with the coyotes at one point, just out there by myself in the middle of the night, doing a star time lapse at like 20 degrees, just like working on my coyote call. It was just fun. It was awesome. And yeah, snow is so hard to melt. It was probably a little after this I was howling with the coyotes. It was pretty fun. Just a different energy in that place than there is in like the Sawtooth or something like that. Like really old American West feelings. More like it's more reminiscent of Hell's Canyon for me, but not even. It's just such a desert, and it's so vast. And like it's really really undeveloped. No one is out there. Nothing is out there. I know there's some restrooms, but it's wild. And yeah, I came up with the term nature brace on this. Better than a nature ASMR, am I right? Don't do that. That's stupid. Hang with your feet off the edge, John. You're out there by yourself. Anything for the shot, huh? Again, I was really comfortable, even though it was freezing. I posted a picture or a story or something of my camera. I left it out for a time lapse, and the camera like froze. I had a lot of frost to deal with out here, and my camera just froze over. Literally, it was an icicle. I'd never seen that before. Just burning some sage. That's what I was burning. Just some sage. It smelled like sage. You could hear coyotes. All right, I'm gonna fast forward here. Tired of looking at my face. Sorry. Did I eat anything out there? It's so funny. I just came back. So I took like some salami and cheese out there. I like salami and cheese. And, I have it in a dry bag. And I don't know when I did this. It was a couple weeks ago. I totally thought I ate all the salami and cheese, but I just pulled out the dry bag and cleaned it out today. And dude, I found like a hunk of salami in the dry bag still, unwrapped. It stinks so bad. I was just like, God, I might have to throw this whole dry bag away. Really beautiful stars too. I just kept getting out. And then this is the next morning, definitely the coldest part of the day, a little nature break. This is the kind of frost I had to deal with. Luckily everything worked. I mean, I read that it got down to 19. I wasn't too bad with cold, just a lot of frost, a lot of moisture in the air, which you're about to see. I don't know if that's common or if I just, hit it at a certain time of the year where there's just frost all over the place, but yeah, this is like what you don't want to walk through. That's why you stay up on that ridge when you're hiking to Yellow Jacket. Don't have to hike up through all that nasty sagebrush. Stay up high up of it. Again, I'm having fun with the drone for some reason. No, there's the road that takes you back into the Owyhees. There's the like point of Yellow Jacket. There's the point of Yellow Jacket right there. So yeah, this is the fog that came in right after my drone flight. This is probably why I had so much frost, and just kind of made it a cool, different kind of landscape. And I shot this nature break. I had a little coffee and silence to myself. I shot it the same way you see it, and came over here, and this was literally the last shot I did. I did the outro before I got to here, and then I packed up and I left. And that is our hike. That is the hike from Juniper Gulch to Yellow Jacket. Do we have any questions? What time is it? 7:50? Dude, I'm getting good with these. I want to make them an hour. Like, come on, man. Kind of looks like everyone wants to find their Chad. Thumbs up. It does kind of look like Utah. Yeah. Although it was Oregon, which is weird because it doesn't look like Oregon. Love the drone shot. Great advice. A good friend of mine had wanted to become a producer. He got offered a job in the mailroom at CBS. I told him to take it and hang out in the newsroom. He wound up in the newsroom, and he's now a producer. Yup. I think that translates too into just like, hey Tucker, by the way, good to see you. I enjoyed our chat today on Facebook Messenger. You, my friend, need to come out hiking with me, you and Jen. You probably show me a thing or two. I think that is just, yeah, for every career, you know. It's not enough to just show up anymore. You have to bother people. Is that the way to put it? You have to bother people? That's the wrong way to put it. You have to force your way through and up. All right, any questions? Let me see all this stuff. Let me see. How's it going? Have you come up to Brundage yet? Yeah, I've been to Brundage a bunch. Brundage is one of my biggest clients. I think I have like 2 videos on Brundage on the channel. Yeah, I have season passes to Brundage. Yep, I do Brundage a lot. Great drone work on the Jupiter video. Thank you. Good evening, John. Good evening, Mr. Hillbilly. John. Since you posted, I was thinking of hiking it this weekend. Either that or go down to the Sucker Creek area in Oregon. So Sucker Creek, I think that might be the area that I'm doing. Is that where the honeycomb loop starts? It's been a while since I checked it. The drone footage was excellent. Can you tell us about your drone? What type is it? So my drone is a Mavic 2 Pro right now. They just released the Mavic 3 Pro. I don't know why I haven't jumped on the Mavic 3 yet. It just seems like they didn't do a whole lot. It's like we've been waiting for the Mavic 3 for so long. And I've got 2 Mavic 2 Pros, so I've got 2 of the drones I have now. Because they're always breaking or always going down, and they're you got to ship them back to DJI. So we have 2, so that if I wreck one, I can just pick one up and keep going. But yeah, that's what I got. I put a polarizer on it. Again, everyone who's watched these a lot knows, like, I'm like, everyone, if you're a filmmaker, get a polarizer for your lenses. If you do outdoor adventure stuff, you should have a polarizer. Have a polarizer. Let me say it again. Have a polarizer on your camera, on your lenses, on your drone, on your stuff. It's just, you're going to have, middle of the day, these really nasty, harsh highlights, always and forever. So you should have a polarizer. It's really, and spend some money on your polarizer, $100 at least. Sorry, polarizer talk. So yeah, Mavic 2 Pro with a polarizer, and I'll upgrade to the Mavic 3 eventually. I've been watching all the videos. This is something Chad does. He's the voice of reason here. I'm always like, let's get that before it comes out. And he's like, hang on, man, there's always a bug. And he's right with technology. It's not about it being best. People rush tech stuff out, and then it's like, okay, we're going to get this out. The public is going to tell us what's wrong with it, and then we're going to fix it. And so Chad's right, even though I hate it. It's like, you want to be the person, you want to let things get out, all the bugs to be worked out, them to patch it and firmware upgrade it, and then you go buy your thing. So Sucker Creek is south of the Jordan Valley. How much did your pack weigh with water? Oh, I didn't weigh it. Oh my gosh. Dude, the winter backpacking is already so heavy, right? It's like just the little things. My tent is like 4 pounds instead of 3. You have more layers of clothes that you're taking. I have a really nice pad, the Therm-a-rest, but I still think it's a little heavier than a normal pad. You know, I take big, thick socks. I take extra things like hand warmers. I take, those down booties, just a little bit. I've been leaving the chair and like the fishing gear, so that kind of helps, but it's really just all that extra, all the extra clothing and just all the stuff to stay warm is pretty heavy. And then, yeah, adding the 5 liters of water was not helping. And then the other thing that, like, so when I go to some place like the backpack trip I did in the Sawtooth where you're not allowed, like I'm actually, there's a part of me when I can't use the drone, there's a big sigh of relief because the drone comes with the drone, a controller, 3 big batteries that are big, and then polarizers. If that's like the bare minimum that I take, and I don't take my bigger power source to charge those batteries, and I just go with 3 batteries, I've added a good chunk of weight to my setup, like at least 7 to 10 pounds with just the drone. So I really like the ones like in the Sawtooth where I can just fly it at the start of the trip, put it in the car, and then I don't have to take it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about, anything about it. So having that drone and slugging that drone up to the top was something. And then I take, 2 lenses. I take way too much camera gear. It's all the camera gear. That was a really, really long way, Tucker, of me answering your question of, like basically not answering your question. I was probably around, if I was going to guess, 50 pounds. I'm not going to lie. I mean, usually in the summer, I'm at like 36. And that's with the camera gear. And for some reason, I'm just going off of feeling. I kind of feel like I was at 50. But to be fair, I knew I was heavy, and I knew like, okay, I want more drone power, and it's a short trip, and I can take this weight with me. Like I would not take 50 pounds on 50 miles or anything. Like I definitely, if I'm gonna be heavy, no, I'm not going far. You want to know the mic? Okay, so I have several mics. Like this one that I've got on right now is actually a Sennheiser G4. This is my studio lab setup. Yeah. So the mic I got on right now is a Sennheiser G4 Lab. These are super expensive, and what I would use if we were in a professional setting. I don't take this. On my camera, and the audio I've been using most is my Video Mic Pro, a Rode Video Mic Pro. Let's pull it up. I love Rode mics, by the way, if anyone's interested in good audio. And this would probably be like the first mic I would buy if I was just starting out again. This is the mic I take. This is big. There's another Rode mic that's, yeah, this is actually like, is that my camera? No, that's a GH4. So that's what it looks like. I have a big fuzzy a dead cat on it. So if you're not familiar with what a dead cat is, here it is. So this goes on top of my mic, this furry thing that kind of helps protect you from the wind. But the wind still does a lot of damage to that. Like you're not going to get great audio if you have total mic crap going. This is the one that like a lot of people, like Craig Adams uses this one, or at least he was when I met him. If you're looking for something much cheaper and just really versatile, this is a Rode Video Mic Ultra Compact. It's also much smaller, you can see, than mine. Again, someone that I'll put in the effort, man, for my art. It's like I train for this. I want my heavy equipment. I want it to look a certain way. I want to use a $270 mic and not a $55 mic. Although you probably wouldn't, anybody, it probably wouldn't tell if I'm using this one. But this is another one that I would get. And then I also take a lav with me. These are Zoom F2s. There's a couple of these. So these are lavaliers that record right to the box. So you don't put another unit on your camera as a receiver. So normally I'll have the Video Mic Pro up on my camera, and then this one, let's just say I'm doing like something less vloggy. I don't know. Oh, like a gear review. Let's just say I'm out there doing a gear review. I was out there doing a gear review on the tent or something like that. I will set up the Video Mic Pro, and then I'll also have this one going underneath. And this one works a lot better for wind. Like, you can definitely have just incredibly gusts just blowing at you. I have a dead cat for this, and like, you know, I tuck that underneath all my windbreaker stuff with the dead cat, and it goes right here. And then this is automatically records, so it's picking up my levels. I don't have to adjust levels or anything. And then this uses a new kind of audio that's called 32-bit float. Basically, audio is now to a point where 32-bit float does not. I don't know how to explain this really in layman's terms, but there's just more data points to the audio file. So basically, the audio file never clips. So let's just say you're getting in and out of a helicopter, and you obviously, on the way up to the helicopter, if you were to get audio with something, you know, from the point standing back all the way to the time you're in it, like, you're just going to have blown out audio or not be able to hear you at these points or that points or anything. And 32-bit float audio has solved that problem. So basically, you'll take that file in. You do need some like more special equipment like Audition or something like that, and you can bring all that audio back without the loud clipping. You know, that wouldn't happen with this. So I have one of these too that goes with me. Although I just like the Video Mic Pro's audio better, so if I can, that's the one I use in my actual video. Does that answer your audio question? Don't get me started on talking gear, guys and gals. Oh my gosh. Hike mileage. Hike mileage was 2.4 up, 2.4 back. How would this be about April or May? Maybe perfect? Someone answer that. I kind of think so. I mean, I'm not too familiar with the Owyhees. I know they get really hot really fast. So I would just judge it based on what goes on in Hell's Canyon. And I would say, like, yeah, May is the latest. Thanks for telling us about the mic. I don't recall you using a selfie stick before. I think you're always on a tripod. Always on a tripod or always handheld. I do like handheld quite a bit, especially with these new cameras. And like, my camera has auto stabilization. Stabilization internally, cameras are getting better and better. It's crazy how fast technology goes. But you know, you used to have your camera on a gimbal, and I have a gimbal. That look to me has become very robotic. I don't like the look. It's very machine, and it's like, I want footage to feel more human. Me personally. So yeah, so a lot of times I'll just hold the camera. I'll make sure that stabilization is on so you don't get like absolutely violent shakes to it. But it's either tripod or handheld with that internal stabilization. And then the drone kind of works as like a moving stabilized thing as well. I don't need something like that. The drone does that for me. And obviously, when you're filming yourself, I can't film myself with a gimbal. I can film myself with the drone. So those are the aspects of it. Tripod, internal the stabilization in the camera, or and the drone. Which mic did I say I was using? The Rode Video Mic Pro. The Rode Video Mic Pro. The Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. I do have the Plus. I don't know why that Plus is something. But yeah. With a dead cat. Looks like, yeah. Well, they don't have with a dead cat on it, huh? Whatever. The Sennheiser G4 I only use in studio. use the Zoom F2 Lav if you want to take it with you. It'll also cost you about $800 less. I think these Sennheiser G4s are like $900 each. Whereas that Zoom F2 is like $180. All right, any other questions before we get out of here? Thanks everyone for always showing up on Wednesday. It's nice that I am not talking to just no one. We're gonna put together oh my gosh, Lana Roth I think is finally coming in next week. It's about time. I'm gonna talk some. You want to hear like a real awesome like go-getter story after we just heard my career story? Like, wait till you hear hers, dude. She makes me look like a chump. But Lana Roth might be coming in, and then I think we're trying to set up. Okay, more trade said, what lenses do you carry? We're trying to set up a hike. I am going to set up a hike. We're going to do this. We're going to do it in June. Hike the Alice Talks Away Loop, like an event that everyone could go to, and we can all hike together. So look out for that. What lenses do I carry? I carry a 24 to 110 or a 24 to 110 f4 and Sony, and I carry a 14 to 24 f2.8 Sigma art house lens with a Sony a7S III camera. What state was it in? It was in Oregon. But honestly, I think it's closer to, like it's closer, it's easier to get to from Idaho, it almost feels like. I don't know how you're getting across the, where you're coming from Oregon, but. This coffee's good. No, I'm not going to be able to sleep. God damn it. You know what else I want to do? We're going to do a hike this year, and I want to put together a cribbage tournament. One of these days, I think I'm just going to have a bunch of dudes, like 3 dudes over, and we're going to play cribbage. One of these live streams is just going to be dudes playing cribbage, and we'll just like BS the whole time, so hopefully that entertain a little bit, while we actually talk cribbage so that you all learn, and then I'm going to do a cribbage tournament. That's what I want to do. There's a lot of stuff I want to do. We're going to figure it out. All right. Thank you, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Go Niners. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Thanks, Rob.